Hi there, Jack here from Bridge Coffee Roasters. Today we're putting two of our domestic focused coffee grinders up against each other. Firstly, we have the X54 by Mahlkonig, and we're putting that up against the Allground by Sanremo and Fiorenzato. We're not going to go into too much detail today, as we've already covered these grinders in their own dedicated review videos. Instead, we're going to be comparing them when it comes to 5 broad categories, those being price, design and build quality, user experience, workflow, and then finally taste. If you want to learn more about these grinders, then I do highly suggest watching our review videos, or you can purchase them by heading to our website, and I'll leave all of those links down in the description. So first, and the easiest thing to get out of the way, is price. The X54 starts at £539 on our website, whereas the Allground starts at £739 and goes up to £899 depending on the fit and finish that you go for. So based on the fact that it starts £200 cheaper, the point for price is going to the X54, and whether or not it provides better value for money, you'll be able to decide for yourself at the end of the video. Both grinders, for the most part, are made out of solid metals, so they both feel really solid and well built. But the Allground is significantly heavier, coming in at 9 kilos compared to 5.3 kilos on the X54. The differences in build quality are really highlighted by the additional parts, like the on and off switch and the grind adjustment dials and the hoppers on top. The adjustment dial on the Allground feels much nicer to turn, and is much more easy to dial in with the step numbers and clear markings as you're looking down on the grinder, versus the X54, which has the smaller side dial on the right hand side. The Allground's on and off button feels much more premium and is on the right hand side with a nice knurled texture compared to the smaller switch on the back of the X54. The bean gate on the X54 feels a lot more premium, being made out of metal, and the hopper is secured in place using 4 pins on the top of the grinder. Whereas the Allground hopper feels a little bit cheaper. It's made purely out of plastic, including the bean gate, and it's not secured in place with any kind of pins. You can also remove the portafilter fork on the X54, which is really nice if you want to mainly single dose or grind for filter coffee, whereas the portafilter fork on the Allground can be adjusted but not removed, so instead it comes with a uniquely designed catch cup. So there's some really nice features and a few quirks for both of these grinders, but design and build feels very premium on both. Though for me, the win goes to the Allground, just based on how much heavier and sturdy the grinder feels, along with the slightly more premium buttons and dials. Obviously, how you feel about the design language of each of these grinders really depends on your preferences, but more points go to the Allground here, which is available in a wide range of colors, whereas as far as I know, the X54 is available in just black, white, and silver. So the user experience is quite different between both of these grinders, although they both operate on a time-based on-demand grinding system. The X54 has a very simple user interface with a basic screen, 4 dose settings, and a manual start-stop button. You can switch between those 4 dose settings and fine-tune them all using the dial on the front there. And that's essentially all there is to it, aside from the on and off button on the back. The Allground is slightly different, which offers a touchscreen user interface, which is both bright and clear, with 3 different grinding modes depending on which section of the grinding range you're in, whether you're in espresso, mocha pot, or filter. Dialing in the grind size to me is a lot more intuitive on the Allground, with an easy adjustment mechanism and ring on the top of the grinder, with clear and repeatable markings that give you some idea as to where you should be grinding. The X54 is a little less fun to dial in with the smaller dial on the right hand side. The number markings weren't always accurate and repeatable. So for example, if you're dialed in at a number 5 for espresso, and then you go really coarse to dial for some filter coffee, if you then dial the grind size back to 5, it might not be the same grind setting that you were getting beforehand. It's also a little bit difficult to grind finer on the X54 when you've got beans stuck in the burr chamber. So sometimes you have to grind some beans through whilst you're dialing the grinder, and that can waste a little bit of coffee. On the Allground, you could definitely feel a little bit of resistance, but it wasn't such an issue. The dial mechanism on the X54 is stepless, which is preferable for a lot of people who are into espresso, whereas the Allground has stepped grinding. That might be a deal breaker for some people, but we found in our testing that the steps between between grind sizes were small enough to still let you properly fine-tune your espresso and filter coffee. So the fact that it's a stepped grinder really wasn't an issue for us. Finally, the Allground has one big selling point over the X54 in terms of cleaning. They've designed the top burr carrier to be incredibly easy to remove just by dialing all the way coarse and lifting the top burr off. This makes it really easy to clean compared to the X54, where you might need a few tools and a little bit more patience. So because of the intuitive touchscreen interface, the easy to use grind dialing mechanism and the improved ease of cleaning, the point for user experience is going to go to the Allground. So both of these grinders offer a very similar workflow with the large built-in hoppers and the grind by time systems, really encouraging you to fill the hopper with beans and grind as needed, rather than single dosing and weighing out your coffee every time. Once you've gone through the process of dialing in your grind size and fine-tuning your dose programs, both grinders offer a very similar workflow during day-to-day use. All you have to do is place your portafilter into the grinder, and in the case of the Allground, you simply press your dose. And with the X54, either push the portafilter into the button or use the manual stop-start button on the front of the grinder. The Allground is significantly faster during grinding than the X54. It took around 9 seconds to grind for a 16-gram shot, compared to the X54, which was around 16 seconds. Though there is one more consideration with speed, and that is the fact that the Allground takes around 15 seconds to turn on, though that's not such an issue as usually it's the kettle or the espresso machine that you'll be waiting around for. Static and mess really isn't an issue at all with either of these grinders, and both of them are adjustable so that any size of portafilter can be locked into place to reduce mess. Volume-wise, both grinders sound quite similar. And when testing this in our showroom, we heard 110 decibels on the X54 and 107 on the Allground, so very similar noise levels. It would be quite difficult to explain why, but I found the noise of the Allground to be slightly more pleasant. It was just a little less offensive to me personally. So the workflow for both of these grinders is very similar, but I'm going to give the point here to the Allground, mainly based on the improved speed and the slightly more pleasant sounding grind. So the final category is taste, and it's probably the most subjective of all of them. So first I'll try and sort of explain what I've been tasting with each of these grinders, and then tell you my preference just in case yours doesn't match with mine. The X54 creates a really uniform grind size, which provides a lot of clarity and acidity in the cup, whereas the 64mm burrs on the Allground create more of a blended particle distribution. So that provides a little bit more variance in the levels of extraction, meaning a little bit more sweetness and body, but also less clarity and more blended flavors. So the X54 works incredibly well with filter coffees to get more clarity and acidity, and longer espresso ratios as well with lighter roasted coffees. The Allground worked really well for more traditional 1:2 ratio shots of espresso, and that worked really well in milk drinks. There was definitely a little bit of blending going on with filter coffees and espresso, giving a nice blend of flavors with a little bit more sweetness and body, but a little less clarity and acidity. So my personal preference is brewing light roasted coffees and pushing towards more clarity and acidity. So probably not surprising that I've really enjoyed brewing filter coffees and longer ratio espressos on the X54. The Allground for me worked better with more medium and dark roasted coffees and more traditional shots of espresso and in milk drinks. So based on my own personal preference for light roasted coffees and high levels of clarity and acidity, I'm going to give the point on taste to the X54, but know that your preference might be different to mine. So both of these grinders are fantastic options to have in the home, or maybe even for a small business that wants to serve its staff and the occasional guest a really nice coffee. The Allground is definitely more of a premium feeling grinder, which absolutely feels like you're getting your money's worth. And based on the categories in this video, I would definitely say it takes the win. Though at £200 less, the X54 is showing great value for money and was my preference based on simply flavor alone. Make sure to check out our individual reviews for both of these grinders if you want to learn more, and follow the links in the description to our website if you want to purchase either of them for yourself. If you're new to the channel, then don't forget to subscribe down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.